and welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBcast. Guys, we are officially... Oh, we've lost someone. We've lost Martin. We are officially the treble champions. Tonight we've got Paddy, as always, Anne-Marie, Stan, Martin when he comes back, and the brilliant Mike McLean. Good evening, guys. How are we feeling?
Evening, Andy.
Good evening, Andy.
Evening, Andy.
Are we all feeling a champion?
Absolutely.
Can anyone actually... Right, I'll start off with you, Mike. Can anyone actually remember the match last night?
To be honest with you, Andy, it was a bit of a blur. No, it was really good. I totally enjoyed it. I went to an event in Manchester. I took my kids there, and I had my best mate and his little lad, and my other mate and his daughter. And it was a really good atmosphere, really good. And at one point, I thought we weren't going to do it.
Why?
Because I think everybody, and especially a lot of City fans I spoke to, thought this was going to be a walk in the park.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't. They set up really well. The five in midfield, it made it very tight for us to find those little pockets of spaces, especially for John Stones. I was surprised that he didn't play Walker, but I guess that was a tactical reason.
Yeah.
And I thought they did a job on Haaland, who, by the way, for me, he only won one header. I think somebody as big as him should be winning more. Mm-hmm. And I thought at a point they were going to sort of... I think I watched one of Pep's press conferences, and he was right in saying that if he went in at 0-0 at half-time, they would come out thinking they're winning this, and he was absolutely spot on. Yep. And it was important that we got that goal just to... You know, I thought when we got that goal, it'd be a different... The first time, I thought we passed the ball. We looked nervous. We played the occasion and not the game. And we looked nervous. I really thought we did. We looked nervous. And I think even Pep said to his players to calm down, you know, which is what...
You could see him all the time. He was like that, wasn't he? He was like almost like a... He was almost like a puppet master, if you like, trying to control the fans as well as the... As well as the players, but I agree with you because I tweeted before a couple of things there, Mike. Before we move on to the other guys, I tweeted just before we scored that I thought Haaland should have come off in the second half because that's nothing against Haaland. He was being targeted. It was quite clear he was being targeted by, and rightly so, because if you was the opposition manager, you'd want to target, the biggest threat.
Yeah,
I thought like somebody like Alvarez running at him last night would have been ideal in the second half. But yeah, I was nervous about going into the second half at 0-0 because I exactly the same as you. I thought the longer the game goes on, the more we will start getting frustrated, and you could see that in some of our passes.
Yeah, I do totally agree with you. I think Alvarez, it would have changed a little bit, and I just think Foden will regret not putting that ball in the back of the net.
What a great little bit of a jiggery pokery it was, Stan, wasn't it? The way he
took it on. Yeah, he took it on his back foot beautifully, and I think any lesson to any kids watching, when you get in that position, laces.
Yeah, bang, rather than trying to place it. Stan, what's your thoughts on last night's game, mate?
We were up against a very disciplined and organised Inter. There's no doubt about that. And they've been showing that all through the tournament, haven't they? Did they have 8 clean sheets and only conceded 4? 10 out of 10 for the homework that they did on us. I think we did play to the occasion at times, but I think we were also frustrated by how well disciplined they were. I've not seen anybody be able to stuff out, like Mike said, the spaces or the central midfield, forcing us to go round, up and over. Very, very difficult. But we kept it. And they started off so fast as well. They were pressing us very, very high. And I was wondering how long can they do that for? I did say at half-time with Paddy that there's nothing really that I've seen that's going to worry us too much. The first 20 minutes, Ederson and Aki were nervous. I can see why Aki was nervous. He's not played for a little while. It's going to take you 20 minutes to get to speed. He was giving the ball away a little bit, and he was turning, and there was somebody there. That done right up on the halfway line. It was difficult. And that's all credit to Inter and their coaching staff. But we got a chance will come because we're that sort of team, and we took it. Would have been great if Foden had got the second. And obviously they're 1-0 down with 15 minutes to go. They're going to have to throw the kitchen sink, aren't they? So they did.
Anne-Marie, here's one for you, Anne-Marie. I just thought Akanji was brilliant last night, apart from when he thought that ball was going back to Edison. I thought Akanji, to be fair, I've made a couple of notes here. Edison, absolutely fantastic. You know, he basically, I know Rodri scored the winning goal, but Edison won that for us as well last night. No doubt about it in my mind. Akanji was brilliant. I thought Stones, Ake, Diaz were incredible as well. Rodri got better as the first half went on. Apart from that, there was no other standouts, but what was pleasing, like KDB went off after, 30 odd minutes, and I'm pretty sure none of us here and the guys in the chat, welcome as well, guys in the chat. I don't think any of us thought, we'll go on to win this comfortable now, even if KDB's gone off.
You're probably right, Andy. But I mean, I for one, I was totally confident. You know that I made the promise to you that we'd win it, and was confident we'd win it, even when Kevin went off, because I thought having a substitute like Foden to come on in his place was perfect. And I have to give credit to Rodri, not just Rodri, sorry, but Bernardo yesterday, because he had some good runs, tried to get good crosses into the box. He had a chance in the first half if someone had got on the end of it. He had a far better game than Grealish did. I'm not convinced Grealish hasn't stopped being on the pop since we won the title.
Well, I've just seen a tweet from Danny Jackson. I'm sure we all know who Danny is, and he's actually said that Grealish has told him he's not getting changed out of his kit till after the parade tomorrow. Paddy, what was your take on it, my friend?
I think the pre-build up to the match and what we were expecting to happen, I think the complete opposite happened. I think they absolutely sucker punched us because we were not expecting them to press us so high. And I think that's why Akanji was on the field instead of Walker, because of the quality of the end ball. And he proved that with the ball he stood in the Silva for Rodri to score. But I don't think the majority of us, even the players, the way they were speaking before the match, that they thought that Inter were going to press us the way they did. They thought they were going to sit back and put this counter-attack, and they did the complete opposite, which I think was a shock to the system. And you could see that in the first half, where the players were confused and Pep was roaring at them to calm down, and they were making the silly mistakes. But I think in the second half we got to grips with it because we knew then what we were facing. But definitely in the first half, they definitely sucker punched us because we were not expecting that.
Yeah, Martin. One thing what pleased me more than anything last night, mate, is we've City are known as playing probably the best football you've anyone's seen, but we played a different way last night. Didn't we? We dug in as if we was getting battered from pillar to post by the Italians. But we just got up. We went with it, and justice prevailed.
Yeah, I actually thought it was a very disciplined performance. I don't, because I did think that when I was doing my show, I thought, we played really bad because that's the way it come across. But I think we were nervous. The passing wasn't there. The rhythm wasn't there. And then I watched it back twice today. And after watching him out twice,
did we still win?
Yeah, through sober eyes, maybe a bit more. I thought it was quite an even game. Typical final game.
Yeah,
the last four finals have all finished 1-0.
And that's the first final in God knows how long that a Croatian hasn't been a Champions League winner. So we broke the curse.
Yeah, because I think, because I actually forgot a few City chances that we had. Because maybe it was the occasion, and I totally forgot about, because we had 2 or 3 good early chances that you'd think we're going to put away.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Inter Milan did surprise me. They played better than what I thought they would. But personally, it's just me personally, I wouldn't say they were by far the better team or outdid us in anything, because the stats don't really show that. And I thought, I think we've got to be, it's just my, because we're used to swiping the floor with teams 3 or 4-1. Well, I made that mistake on my preview. I went in going, we're going to smash these 3 or 4-0. And you said, Andy, no, be careful. This is a final. You never know. And I think that's what it is, because we haven't won 3 or 4-0. It maybe looks a little bit worse performance-wise than what it actually was. But then you think of the occasion and everything else. Well, probably a 50-50 game.
I don't think so, Mike. I don't think. I think in general, I think the performance of Inter surprised even Pep a little bit, didn't it? Where you could see him frantic at times, like trying to change the system and the tactics as the first half was going on.
I'm sure he would have had his team do his own work, and most teams play 5 in the middle, but they don't necessarily play 2 up front. So that was another thing that we had to cater for, was the 2 up front. And normally when you play 5 in the middle, you go long, don't you? You just need to drop that ball over the back of the 5, and your 2 wingers or your attacker gets on it. And we didn't seem to do that. And I would have thought that would have been something that he would have looked at, and said, look, this is how I think they're going to do. They're going to either do A, they're either going to do B, or they're going to do C. And that's what I thought he might have had in his head,
Yeah, I just felt on the whole, Stan, that Pep showed his class the way he was changing things about. And as I say, when Foden come on, I thought Phil was really, really good.
Yeah, great. And just, he's got that lovely left foot, and that, I mean, when he took that ball on his back foot, that's not easy to do. And, and like everybody said, the Italians, the one thing they're known for is defending, and they did it really well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Stan, speaking of Foden, give us some stats on what he's won now, because I seen you post something in our group earlier, and I think it's mind-boggling. He's 22 years of age, and what's he won now?
I don't remember off the top of my head. Was it 5 leagues?
You posted it, you numpty.
Can't remember. 5 leagues, 3 League Cups, 2 FA Cups.
Right, I've got it here. I've got it here in front of me. So Phil Foden has won 5 Premier Leagues, 4 League Cups, 2 FA Cups, 2 Community Shields, and a Champions League. And Marie, that is just crazy at 22 years of age.
Don't forget, he's won the World Cup under-17, and he was player of the tournament.
I think you'll find Alvarez has won more, hasn't he?
Oh, I don't know. It's close.
Yeah, he has. He's won the Copa America, the World Cup. He's won loads of stuff, hasn't he? He's won. I think he's won the Open as well.
I tell you what, Alvarez,
he just doesn't play a lot.
It's fantastic. We've got them both. If anyone went off them, they broke. I'm glad it was Foden came on.
So he's won the World Cup, Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League. It bodes well, though, Anne-Marie, doesn't it, for the age of some of them players? Because let's not forget what's Grealish. He's only 26, and he's almost considered now a veteran, if you like, in Premier League standards. But for you look at the other players, even, not only Foden, I think you've got to look at Ake, Akanji. There's still plenty, even Diaz and Stones. They're not veterans by any stretch of the imagination, are they?
No, not at all. The future's bright for City. That's a definite. And the thing is, the way we bring in players and the type of players we bring in generally are all young players. So we're not just looking at the next season. We're looking at the future for City, and I think it's such a positive sign. And even, you know, you look at the likes of Rico Lewis, Cole Palmer, all being able to come in and do a job for us at various points. I think that, you know, as the saying goes, the future's bright, the future's blue.
Sky blue. And Anne-Marie, you promised everybody if we won the Champions League, you would have a Tequila Rose live on show.
And here we go.
Paddy, it is scary what the future, what, you know, what we've got with some of these players, isn't it?
It is.
Cheers.
Cheers, Anne-Marie. What you consider is around the first team and what's going to be brought in to be around the first team next season from the EDS. Well, I remember Pep saying that many years ago that he wanted over 50% of the starting 11 to be from the EDS, and he's well on his way, because what's Kevin De Bruyne knows there's a couple of years, 2-3 years left in him. You can see Foden or Palmer slipping in there, Walker goal getting in there, and there's a few others amongst that EDS that are fairly hot. Even taking into consideration the lads already on loan, I know like Doyle and McAtee and stuff like that, they might actually make it into the first team, but by God, they're going to make a good living out of the game. And that's not. I can't think of that other fitted.
You're still hungover from last night, aren't you? Aren't you? You're still hungover from last night. You're still hungover from last night, aren't you?
I didn't do it. I was sober.
Yeah, Martin.
When Kanji passed that ball back to Ederson, I nearly went on a drink then.
I think I had a Tequila Rose by the time it passed Akanji before it got to Ederson. Martin, one thing what I don't know if anybody's picked up on what Pep said after the match, and obviously all the euphoria is going on about us winning the Champions League as well. He actually said something on the lines of, "It's no point in us just win it one. We need to win it more and more now." For me, that was probably the first indication that he's here for the long run rather than short term.
Yeah. I mean, they're like I think Fabregas said it, you know, they'll let him have these next 2 weeks and then it'll be, right, we're at zero again. We go again. And the thing is, we won't do what Liverpool did. We will refresh the squad. 3 or 4 will go. I think 2 or 3 of them played the last game last night. Thank them for the service. And 3 or 4 will come in and we go again.
While you're speaking about that, I have made a note there. One thing I did notice as well is a lot of the players were deliberately going up to Bernardo, putting an arm around Bernardo last night. I don't know if you clocked that or anyone clocked that. Even Pep and the coaching staff, they seem to target Bernardo.
Him and Gundogan Gundogan looked like that was it last night. Same with Bernardo. So
I would say, Mike, with Kovacic more or less done now, that's more of a Gundogan replacement than Bernardo, isn't it, mate?
It probably is. Going back to what you said about Pep being here, I actually think the reverse, because I think somebody said, "What's next?" You know, and he sort of dismissed it and said, "Oh, I need time to sort of, you know, have a break and blah blah blah." And my worry is now, when you've reached the top and he's done the, you know, does he stay or does he bow out? Because if I was the manager, I would bow out now, because you bow out at the top. My worry is next year, and my worry is that he's going to burn out because he's so intense, you know. And I know you're saying he's here for the long run, but I hope and I pray you're right. But something inside me tells me completely different.
But, however, Mike, what could we possibly do next season what nobody else has done?
Well, yeah, there's the 4. Or we could. I also think it's the monkey off the back, isn't it? We've won the Champions League now, and I do think now we know how that game's played, that we could go on and win it again.
Well, it is, especially now Yaya's lifted the curse on us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
just.
do you not think the course's main road has followed Kevin De Bruyne?
I just felt sorry for a little bit, Paddy, last night. Kevin De Bruyne's second final where he's had to come off. But this time, although he's had to come off, mate, there's no heartache there, is it? And he actually said he's been playing with a hamstring injury for a number. Did he say a couple of months?
Yeah, and that will explain why his form's just not 50%.
So you got to remember, you still got the Super Cup,
And it's
Club World Cup. You got all this to come yet that he'll want to win.
Yeah, I don't think Pep will bail out Anne-Marie is especially with these charges hanging over us. I've just seen so much negativity from the world's media and stuff like that. Even yesterday, I tweeted something on the lines of one of the polls. What was running on Sky Sports News was do you want Manchester City to win tonight? And if that's any other club like the media darlings, they wouldn't even ask that question, would they?
No. And it's a complete and utter, it just sums up what they all think of us. And for me, I really don't give a shit anymore.
Woohoo!
That's a valid point.
no, she's right.
Because we've done exactly what everyone's been nagging us about with the Champions League, regardless of the treble. The Champions League was the one that they always questioned us on, and now we've done it. So the likes of your Chelsea, your Villa supporters can now go kiss my backside when they come to the Etihad and say, champions of Europe, you'll never sing that, because now we are champions of Europe. And they can hold any number of charges against us, but they can't prove them. So as far as I'm concerned, let them throw the book at us. We've got nothing at all to worry about. Pep's going nowhere because he's mad. And I think that's what's galvanised the team more than anything. They're mad about what the FA have done, what the Premier League have done this season to us. They've gone out of their way to try and finish us off. And all we've done is just get better and better, and we've proved them all wrong. So if I was doing hand gestures, it would be the middle finger to the lot of them. They can go and swivel on it.
Can somebody get that bottle off?
That would be the reverse, Anne-Marie. I would actually go at them and offer my hand and shake them and say, thank you for what you've done, because that's just spurred us on to win the 3 trophies. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So before
I want those 9 clubs that Pep named and shamed. I want them hung out to dry as well.
So hang on, Stan. Before I come to you, mate, I don't know if anybody remembers. Anne-Marie said if we won the Champions League, she'd have a Tequila Rose live on air tonight. Come on, Anne-Marie.
A bottle of red wine today.
No, another one. Potty mouth there.
Go on, Stan. Mike, I don't know if you noticed it.
Right. The problem is, though, it won't matter what we do. We were told right back at the beginning, you won't win anything because it's only mercenaries. The mercenaries won't do anything. And then we won the cup, and then we win this. And you're not a great team till you've done it 3 times on the run. So you win the league 3 times on the run. You're not a great team until you win the Champions League. Or you've only won the Champions League because you spent money. Everybody else has, fielded 11 youth players. It's called jealousy, and you're never going to stop it because they will always find something to have a little niggle at. Oh, look at that! You got 100 million stadium, and only 4 people go in. Doesn't matter. It is just pure jealousy, and the fact that what really annoys them is they can't actually find any proof. And to be honest, I don't think we've broken any rules because what we've done, there were no rules to break. I just think we've just rode roughshod right through the very weak framework that the Premier League have got on what you can and can't do, and that's where we're struggling.
And we've seen that with them making changes already with what Chelsea have done, haven't we, Stan? With putting players on like 6, 7, 8 year contracts and stuff like that. For me, it seems like every time a club like City does something, or in Chelsea in that case, the Premier League go, oh shit, we better do something about that rather than having them rules in place in the first place.
It's all reactive. It's all reactive, and because everything was great for 15 years, 16 years. Liverpool had their little turn at the top. United had their little turn at the top. Arsenal had a very tiny go at the top. Because it was the red shirts, they weren't bothered. But then suddenly, somebody with money and a brain and a lot of very clever people around him came in and just took a wrecking ball to the whole system. And they do not like it one little bit. These charges haven't been brought by the police. They've been brought by other teams within the Premier League. Because they realise they haven't got the skill, the nous, or the work ethic to outdo City where it matters.
Martin, what's your stance on everybody hating us and trying to demean us now for the? I'm the same as Anne-Marie now. I'm just going. I don't give a shit what all the haters are saying. It's oil money, this, that, and the other. You know, you cheats, this, that, and the other. I can't be asked. I just laugh now. I love being hated. Not me personally, but the club.
It's never going to change, no matter what we do. In their eyes, none of our achievements are going to be legitimised. That's the way they see it. So, nothing we can do about that. We can't change their opinions on it. But in their eyes, they're seeing 115 charges. And we will find out in due course, whenever it is, all about that. And I've said to other people, I think we're innocent, but if it turns out we have done something, no one will come down harder than I will on that football club. Nobody will. But there's a thing in this country is innocent until proven guilty.
It seems the opposite way round at the moment, though, doesn't it?
Exactly. I'm sick of all these YouTube lawyers, Twitter solicitors, and everyone else who seem to know all the laws, and none of them have read the Cast case. They don't have a clue about the Spiegel. They don't have a clue about any of it. So all they've done is read the back of the Daily Mail, the Sun, or whatever, seen 115 and got a little excited. Like the history thing. You haven't got a clue. Nobody mentioned. I was speaking with someone and they went, "Oh, it's the first European trophy you've ever won." I'm not even going to respond to them anymore because, listen, if you talk to idiots, you get idiotic answers. So what's the point?
And it's exactly, Martin, I've always said, never argue with an idiot because they'll bring you down to their level and beat you with experience. Isn't that right, Paddy?
Absolutely. Look, forget about the 115 charges. It can be 315 charges for all I care. The only number I care about is the 11 that goes on that pitch. And that 11 has done the treble this year, whether they're mercenaries or whoever other people want to call them. They can't compete with us. So they think they're going to like kind of contaminate our success by saying, "Oh, it's tainted and it's this, it's that." It's like, I can't think of that film where your man's playing poker in the train and he says, "Oh, what do you want me to do?" Say that he cheats better than I do. They're all cheating. Every last one of them are cheating. It's just that me might be that little bit more clever. It's like going back years ago when the Bungs were out and Arsenal overreacted and they sacked George Graham and nobody else sacked any other managers.
Yeah.
They're all at it. Every last one of them are at it. It's just we're better at it.
Mike, what's your reaction with us being hated and all the media shit what comes out and all the like Martin said, all the Twitter lawyers and all that palaver?
I think I'm a great believer in flipping things. So when you get a negative, you flip it and get a positive. And I think the positive out of all this is that it's probably spurred City on to, take it on board. I honestly don't think the players are aware of it. Well, probably not aware of it, not the right word, but I don't think I don't think Pep lets it get to the players, I'm the same as you guys. I just think, what will be. If they deduct us 25 points, good, because that'll be a fair for the other teams to get on board and give them a chance. We could do with a break, maybe not winning it next year, just have a little break for 1 year, let somebody else, and then the year after that, we'll just clean up again. I'm the same as you. I'm not really bothered about it. It's going to take a few years before it all comes. And from whoever I've spoken to, they've all said the same. It's meaningless. I think I said it the last time I was on your show. I think the Premier League are going to regret bringing these charges, Andy. I really do.
I agree, mate.
I think they're opening a can of whip ass, and I think this bringing these charges. I think I said it on Talk Sport when I presented on there. This is them opening this can of worm that's literally going to come bite them in the ass. I really, really do. And they've got to be so careful in what they're accused. They've got the best lawyers. City have got the best barristers, the best lawyers. No stone will be unturned, because if they turn around and say you've done this, that one of their team of barristers will say, well, hold on a minute, what about this team in so and so? And they haven't got a leg to stand on. Do you understand? And I also
totally agree.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I honest to God, let them go on, let them have their say, let them. And like you said before, there's full of, Twitter's full of those barristers and full of those solicitors. The only people that know what's going on will be the club and the barrister.
Yeah, I'd say it was good to see Sheikh Mansour there last night, wasn't it, mate?
How did he get a ticket, by the way?
I know. I asked that question. I reckon he got it off the ticket website, the city one.
I reckon he got it now. One game in 13 years. One game in 13 years, and he gets that. You know what I mean? Do me a favour.
Bit like you, Martin.
He's not on the loyalty, is he?
What's he ever done?
I know. Where was he when we were shit?
Did he do the Poznan?
I would like to open up a charge against Mansour. There's no way he's had 20,000 points. I'm not having it.
Exactly.
I think it was.
He's given 20 million.
I think it was a big statement by him being there last night. If I'm being totally honest, because he wasn't in Porto. It's no coincidence he was there last night, in my opinion.
I think he had to be there last night, didn't he? He had to be. I don't think he would have looked good if he wasn't there. And I think that's the one game where he had to show his face.
Yeah,
I see where you're coming from there, Matt. The politically football.
Yeah.
I'm behind my men as well with these charges.
Yeah, because if he didn't, and it's like, well, all right, I'm giving you the money, but good luck and fight this battle yourself. But he was up there, and he was like you said, this is my team, this is my club, and I'll make sure that we're looked after. So he had to be there. And when he got
playing out, even brought playing out today.
Don't you think we've aged him a bit?
Thought he looked quite good actually with his blue scarf on.
Anne-Marie, no, forget it. Look, she's money grabbing already. He's got a billionaire. I'm off.
So, Anne-Marie, before we move on, are you going to keep to your promise and have a Tequila Rose live on the show tonight?
Take it, Anne-Marie's not going to the parade tomorrow then.
Not going to work, Martin, that's for sure.
She's not going to make the end of the show.
Mike,
Probably won't if it's anything like last week.
She had a couple last week on the show, Mike, and she was pissed as a newt.
Keep going, Anne-Marie. You're doing really well.
I have already had a bottle of red wine today.
Good girl.
I think you've figured out why Mahrez is going. If you agitated Mahrez to move so you can get more money for your tequila.
God, I'm sweating.
I wonder who Anne-Marie's going to slag off next year when Mahrez goes.
Anne-Marie's going to have a party the day Mahrez goes.
Mike, before I get on to something else, who can you see actually going in the summer?
Laporte. He's too good to sit on the bench.
Yep.
Gundo, Bernardo. I'm just praying, and I'm praying to God that they do all they can to keep them two players. I really do. I think Bernardo this year has been outstanding. I think Gundo's been exceptional, and he's sort of shown his class in the big games. He's just turned up, hasn't he? Coming off the man, and Gundo's there. I do think Laporte's going to. If I was Laporte's agent, I'd be saying, listen, we need to get you playing regular, especially as a Spanish international. He needs to go. He needs to go and find regular football. I also think the young defender. Oh, I keep forgetting his name because he's
Gomez.
Yeah, I think I think he's going to Burnley, isn't he? That's what I've read.
Yeah,
And he
20 million.
Yeah, do you know what? He just doesn't look the sort of player that fits the City ethos. And I think Anne-Marie's favourite, Mahrez, will definitely go.
Anne-Marie's favourite?
With what I've heard,
Anne-Marie,
Andy, and this is only what I've heard through context.
I know you love me.
He gets very upset when he sees your podcast and Anne-Marie slags him off.
No, she doesn't. Listen.
Anne-Marie, I know you love me.
I love him. Absolutely love him.
I love you too.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Andy, you know my own Tim Gundogan at the minute is you heard about tomorrow we got a parade.
Yep.
Tuesday they're all going into international duties.
Yep.
So really Tuesday's, if he's gone, he won't be coming back.
Mm-hmm.
The locker will be cleared out tomorrow.
I think
if he's not announced tomorrow, he's going to need to know where he's going back to at some point. Because when they leave tomorrow, does he report back? Because that'll be the next time he steps back into the CFA.
He already knows.
I think he already. I'm with Andy. I think he already knows. If he's got a really good agent, which I'm assuming he would have, he knows. And I think those that are going know. The only people that don't know are us.
Yeah, I just think he was staying.
Do you not find that disrespectful, Mike?
No, because that's the way it is in that business, and it's the same in my. They do their business first. What right have you got to know just because you're a fan? They've got their family to sort out. They've got everything. And I think that's the right way, And I honestly don't. I'm not being facetious or anything. I just don't think they're the first to know. Him and his agent, I'm sure, would have sat down maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago and said, "Listen, what we're going to do," and they would have had a plan. And they would have sorted it out. And I genuinely do think that's the way it is with agents. I know because I've got several and I know how it works that we sort of sit down with the plan and then go right to the person that, right, this is what we're going to do. And then that's when they sit down and have a discussion. I'm sure that discussions have gone on between agents and not Caldoon, but Cheeky Berestino and the other guy. I'm sure there's communications between the two. I do think the next few weeks are going to be busy for them because they're going to. I also think they've got a clear idea of where they're going to go and what they're going to do next. Mm-hmm. Because that's what the Barcelona way was. Go on.
The purposes of clarity, what I mean is, like tomorrow now, it'll be the final opportunity to say goodbye to them and thank them for their service. So we're not like if they don't announce anything before that parade tomorrow, we're not going to get a chance to do that. That's what I mean in terms of.
Yeah, I don't think they care about that anymore.
I get what you're saying, but it's a business, isn't it? It's a business, and listen. If it was David Silva, different, Aguero, because we knew that they were going and they were, and we got to say goodbye to them and company, and because they were legends. I think if you look at De Bruyne, you'll probably know. Because he's a legend, I'd be upset. I get where you're coming from, and I would be totally upset if we didn't know about. That's why when you said about Bernardo and Gundogan, I still think there might be a little chance that they might stay. Why would you want to go to Barcelona? Why would you want to go to Barcelona?
It's because of for me, it's the family aspect.
Yeah, and
it's clear their partners are not happy here.
Yeah, that's the one thing I did hear a while ago when I worked at City, that Bernardo Silva's, not this girlfriend that he had, the girlfriend previous, wasn't a big fan of Manchester.
And she's pregnant now as well.
It's simple. You change your partner. You don't change your clothes.
He's got a pregnant.
So?
No, I think you're right there, Mark. That as fans, there's certain things we're probably better off not knowing.
Yeah.
Same with De Bruyne. Everybody knew there was something wrong, but quite rightly, we didn't know that he was carrying an injury because you don't want the opponents to know that. No. We're guessing on maybe if it's this, could it be that? Is he not happy? Is he not settled? Just you end up finding out he's had a bad injury. It's actually been a bit of a miracle to play to the level he has with that kind of an injury.
And
People just
how many of us,
hamstring.
how many of us said in the past, God, De Bruyne's not on. He's not on fire.
Exactly.
We've all said it. Even I was
Yeah.
like, but he's not been at his best. And now we know
Well,
why.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. And the drugs he must have took for him to get through those games.
Legal drugs, may we add?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's not that daft, is he?
Yeah, because it was a tear on a hamstring.
Yeah.
It?
And now it's completely torn.
Yeah, there's three. Which will need an operation. Your third tear needs an operation.
Yeah.
So
That was all September.
He has literally given his body to the cause.
Yeah. The other thing I'm really annoyed about was who the hell decided to have an international? What is the point of that pointless international? And I just think Southgate should go to the England lads like, listen, don't worry about it. I'll put some of the fringe players in, give them a chance. You go away and have an holiday.
Well,
Yeah.
Grealish will be pissed anyway. Stones, he'll still be celebrating. If Grealish goes, he'll still have his City kit
Phillips
on.
will be injured.
By the looks of it, we know De Bruyne won't be going now because of this injury. So that's sort of like a blessing for Kev. Really, he can now recuperate, for the full summer. But yeah, it's just bizarre, isn't it? The timing of an international, match.
It's just ridiculous. I just think those people at the FA are fucking clueless. If you got those people at the FA and said, right, here we go, this is what you're going to do for a year. You're going to train, you're going to play, you're going to train, you're going to play, and you'll see how knackering it is. I bet you any money they'd change it.
Have you seen what's coming up in December next year? Not this year. We've qualified for that World Club thing. But the following year, it's going to be a 32-team tournament right in the middle of December.
For what?
That's going to mess us up the season after.
What?
The World Club Cup.
Oh.
Yeah, but the chain of Champions League as well, aren't they? That's becoming even bigger as well. So
Yeah. So not next season, the season after, you're going to get a bigger Champions League and you're going to get a 32-team World Cup Championship that we've qualified for because we won yesterday.
Ridiculous.
We played 60 games this year. You could be looking at probably 70 games over the next 2 years.
All money.
Of course.
Have you seen how many, Stan? Have you seen how many games Rodri's played this season? 53 games. That is obscene.
Yeah.
he showed last night.
Well, not really. I'm really. Here's one for you where what FIFA's put: stop the Gomez hate, give the poor lad time. I don't think it's hate, is it? I think we just realise that as much as we like the lad, he's just not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say it's hate, and it's the same with Phillips, or there's been a few different players we've had, and it's not hate at all. It's just that because we've become used to a certain standard, we expect that certain standard in all players, and what we're seeing is that sometimes the likes of Gomez, the likes of Phillips, maybe as good as they aren't quite up to our standard, and we have to accept that. And it isn't a hate thing, because I don't hate any of our players at all. I don't hate any, but I will call them out if I don't think they're trying hard enough.
They're not good enough. Sometimes you got to be straight. They're not good enough.
The difference with Gomez as well is because he's young, you put him in the same bracket as Ferran Torres and the centre-back lad that went to Barcelona. Because they're young, you can flip him for a profit quite quickly. Something you can't really do with Phillips, Garcia. And you're going to do it. If you can earn a quick 10, 15, 20 million, you're going to do it. Because before you know it, there's 40 million. And you can buy a quality proven international for that money. If you look,
Gomez is here by default. Because we didn't get Cucurella. Because didn't even Pep say the kid was going out to Girona alone?
But
and then they realised they couldn't get anyone in. They were going to take the punt and keep him.
And I think that's going on, because if that Guardiola goal comes in and Laporte and Gomez go, that's covered the money for that Gavola. What's he called? Gavola.
Guardiola.
Yeah, him.
And we're all happy that Cucurella never came.
Absolutely, mate. We dodged a bullet. But does anybody agree with me when I say that? I think Pep had Gomez as part of immediate plans. However, he's been surprised how much Ake has been playing brilliantly on the left as well. And then when Ake's not been playing, Akanji has been playing brilliantly on the left. Now, I don't think anybody would put Gomez, in place of his fourth choice, isn't he, effectively on the left? After Ake, Akanji, Laporte is the fourth there. So we could bring, by all means, we could start with Gomez. We could start with Phillips. We could start with some of the other fringe players. We won't be winning the treble, I'll tell you that for sure. So it's what we want really and what we wish for.
How good is
put Lewis in that as well, because what didn't really help them guys, we went to 3 at the back and that squeezed them out a little bit further.
I'll tell you what I have liked is the fact that Ake was, I know, a good player. You'd all agree that at Bournemouth he was a good player, but now he's a world-class player. And for me, he's just been outstanding this season. Absolutely phenomenal.
Totally. If Haaland wasn't here, Mike, he would be my player of the season.
See, I went for Rodri because, like you said before, he's played so many games, and his work rate has been phenomenal. Absolutely. And I don't think and I'm saying this as a football fan and not a City fan. I've not seen another midfielder, a holding midfielder like him, anywhere in the Premier League that could. Oh, Declan Rice was good, but I don't think he's in Rodri's shoes. Absolutely no. And I'm saying, as a football fan, not as a City fan, he's been brilliant. Absolutely. And he doesn't score goals; he scores bangers, as my lad said.
Composed as well, composed bangers. That one last night, he didn't just leather it. He guided it. It was almost like a pass, wasn't it?
He knew where it was going. He placed
3 players.
Yeah, I just think he's been fantastic. I really, really do, and I'm a big fan of midfielders because they never get. Everybody goes Haaland because he scores goals, and that's natural. The Haaland, they're always there in the money pot, getting a goal, bang, bang. But he's put out so many fires. He reads the game absolutely brilliantly. He reads it, and he doesn't do anything. You don't go, wow, he's not a De Bruyne, or he just he does what he's got to do, gives the balls to those that can do phenomenal things, and I just don't think he gets the credit he deserves.
No, Martin, have you seen the Champions League team of the season?
No.
Well, I'll read it out. It's only just recently come out. So you've in goal. You've got 1 second. You've got Courtois. Defense on the left. You've got DiMarco. In the centre, you've got Bastoni, Ruben Diaz, and on the right, you've got Kyle Walker. I think that, interestingly though, in midfield, you've got Rodri, De Bruyne, John Stones. And considering that's John Stones in midfield. This is the official Champions League team of the season. And up front, you've got Vinicius Junior, Haaland, and Bernardo Silva on the right. Thoughts on that, anyone?
Yeah,
that would be a cheap team to buy.
Yeah, no, I see that. I think Rodri's been phenomenal. I just think last night it showed he played fifth. It showed why we need a really good backup for him.
Yeah.
Because if he'd have had that chance to rest, I know he scored the goal, but he said himself he was garbage.
He didn't. He said he was shit. He said he was shit.
Being PC then, he couldn't string a 5-yard pass yesterday, but nobody could. That was the problem. And I think that was the downfall of the whole team. I just think they were knackered. A lot of them were knackered yesterday, and you could see. And it's great having this squad, this small squad that Pep wants. But this is where my concern comes in about keeping a Gundogan, keeping all these players is they're 32, 33. We know some of them on the bench are not good enough to come in. We need either to get better quality to come in off the bench, or we need to replace some of the older ones. or we're going to roll into a Liverpool situation if we're not careful. Very quickly if we're not careful.
Agree. We cannot have sentiment because sentiment leaves you like
it's
Liverpool.
Gotta go. Pep won't do that. I know. And, I love it, but it's like, Mike said earlier, they're a business. We still haven't done a David Silva testimonial. We're not going to do one. It's not about giving them a wave off anymore and around the pitch. Thanks very much. It's sad to think that, but it's whatever they need to do and go now. It's really sad. Like I said, we forget sometimes they're actually employees of a football club. They're not fans.
On a lot of money.
Yeah, they're not fans. They haven't got the same love with it behind us. So it's just one of them. And like I said, it's not hate on Gomez. It's just he's not good enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to be cruel to be kind. He's a good player, but he's in Manchester City level. Calvin Phillips, brilliant player. Is he a Manchester City? I know we've always said this, give each one a year, but not every single player who City signed make it. Mangala never made it.
I don't
You
know.
can name so many players that never made it.
Anne-Marie, I'm seeing some of the comments below regarding where is Anne-Marie drinking a tequila rose live on air? We have not seen her yet. You all right there, love? Come on.
Oh,
So
you're
come on,
going to be
Anne-Marie.
the death of me.
For those who've just joined us, Anne-Marie's going to have it's her first tequila rose live on air tonight. Paddy, do you go along with that? We've got sentiment can't come into it.
No, absolutely not. You have to be lethal, but like what I says in an earlier podcast that we done, in terms of signings, right, we're going looking for players. Say Silva goes now and Gundogan goes and Laporte goes, right? Like they have to be replaced. They're not going to replace all of them from the EDS. But who's going to come to sit on the bench?
Well, that's the problem, isn't it, Stan?
That's
are we a victim of our own success where we've built a squad up like that where players don't fancy it? Like people say, get Declan Rice. He wouldn't fancy his chances to come in dislodge Rodri. No player would.
He wouldn't. But on the other hand, we've got Pep Guardiola. I think if I was Rodri, I'd jump at the chance because going into school, but what he's going to learn from, he's going to be absolutely blind in play. I did say, I think I've said it before to you, Andy. I'd offer Phillips and a bit of cash and take Declan Rice.
But would Declan want to come knowing there though, Mike? What he's got in front of him.
I'm sure he would because I think Pep's had to play Rodri a lot. I think if you ask Pep, why have you played Rodri this much? If he was honest, I think he'd say I've had to because I don't think Phillips was up to speed. And I think if Phillips was up to speed, Rodri wouldn't have played as many games because he would have alternated and he's the only player that hasn't had a rest. So yeah, I think Calvin, if Declan came, I think personally for his career it'd be one of the best things he could do.
My only concern on that
he said that in earlier podcasts because
Go
on, Paddy.
No, just saying that they might there. We discussed that before. That if Rice was there this season, Rodri would have got a hell of a lot more rest, and Rice would have got a hell of a lot more game time than Phillips has got. But
then
the very reason that's
point.
Obviously Pep
Who plays the big games? They're both going to want the big games.
Yeah, but I think that's a discussion that Pep has with him before he signs and says, look, I want to sign you. It's your job to get in the team and dislodge. But in the meantime, I'm going to make you into an even better midfielder. And I'm guaranteed that
I'm not. He's sort of already there, though, isn't he? He's captain of West Ham, England international.
Is he, though? Is he? All right, so who would you have between Rodri and him in your team? He's not. He's a good midfielder. He's a good midfielder. He's not a great midfielder.
Rice?
I think he looked good in a very poor West Ham team.
No, I think he's a very, very good midfielder. I think that's why they're looking at 110 million for him.
Martin, there's a question from you from Super City. I'll let you take that one on.
No, because I've got to mention his name.
So Martin apparently used to call Roderick Plodder.
No, I didn't. It wasn't me. It was Alan who used to call him Plodder. Alan called him Plodder. I was the one who backed him. I backed him and backed him. No, so the thing with Declan, I think Declan Rice is mustard. My issue with Declan Rice is I don't think he comes in to rotate with someone like Rodra. I don't know what Mike's saying, but maybe it's because I've got him at a higher echelon than.
But do you play him as a 6 or do you play him as an 8? Two different.
I don't think he can do the 8.
Under Pep, yeah, but Stones couldn't play midfield, but under Pep he has. So this is what I'm saying. Under Pep, could he? You say he couldn't, but under Pep, could he?
Are we dismissing? Here's one for you, Pissed Up Anne-Marie. Are we dismissing Foden being able to play in that role? Because we seem to be forgetting what we've already got.
I think we are forgetting what we've already got with Foden. And one of the things that we've seen, particularly towards the end of the season when he stood in for Grealish, not for Grealish, for Kevin, is that he's more than capable of running that midfield.
Yeah.
And I think we've got a ready-made replacement there who, given the opportunity, can make a massive difference to us because he's got more pace about him than Gundogan has.
Did you not have him doing the Kevin role, though?
Well, I think you can mix it around a bit, can't you, Martin?
Mm.
But I think that's he's better in the middle than he is out on either wing.
Yeah, that lovely left foot of his.
Yeah.
Cheers, Kev, by the way. Cheers, Kevin.
I think this is one of the most exciting things that we've got about Pep Guardiola. Will he bring somebody in to do the Kev role, or will he just come up with a different way of playing and get somebody in that can do that role?
Knowing Pep would probably have Edison playing that role.
I know the guy I want, and he's been linked with us.
Kimmich.
And yeah. He's been my dream midfielder for God knows how long. I just never thought he was ever an option. Because to me, he was one of them really weird dream FIFA signings that would never come up. I always thought he was a buy-and player for life. But if that unrest is true and they can get him to do that 8 role with Kovacic, and because I think Kovacic is going to play a lot more people realise.
I don't. I can see this is obviously I'm there to be shot down by the guys in the comments and yourself. I see Kovacic quite happy to come and bucket loads of money, sit on the bench and play if and when he gets a chance.
I don't think he'll be on buckets of money, Andy. I really don't. I honestly don't. I think the days of paying silly money for players is over.
Yeah.
Well over.
We've certainly got the strength.
Well over. It's more about the bonuses now than it is about the wages.
Yeah, and appearance fees. I'm sure there'll be you come. They're not. We used to throw money at everything, and I just don't think we do now. I think it's going to be like, especially with his age. I mean, if we were throwing money, Gundogan would have had a 3-year contract.
But isn't
they'd be giving Bernardo $400,000 a week to keep him and buying him a sun house? So
I don't think it's necessarily the sun. I think it's more the food, isn't it? Yeah, I'd be hiring a chef to bring the food over for every day. So if it's, I'd much prefer to shell out the extra money for Bernardo, for instance, than bring somebody else in it. That's if Bernardo wants to say it. It looks pretty clear he doesn't. But I mean, that's the route I would be going. No.
But what?
I mean,
like, the only way he wants to go is for personal reasons. Obviously, it's not for football reasons. But like, you can't.
Do you know what it is with Bernardo?
It doesn't want to stay.
Barcelona, I always knew could never afford him.
No, we don't.
But now PSG are in. different kettle of fish now because they can just slap 60, 70 million down and go, thanks very much. And they need a midfielder.
But Paris is a
It rains in
shithole.
Paris as well.
And it's a shithole.
I agree, but it's not a shithole to a lot of foreign players. Danny Alves, we all know Danny Alves was sacked. Manchester City, signed, sealed, delivered. Went to Paris. He didn't think it was a shithole.
Probably they was offering more money because you do get mercenaries like that, don't you?
You just said commenting to the mercenary.
I think it was the house. I think it was the house in Longsight that they offered it.
I tell you what. How Bezic used to be, right? That's better than how Paris is.
Debatable.
And I was born and bred in Bezic.
I know, but Paris is different to us. It is. It's a load of crap, but some people abroad, it's not. It's
some people like culture and towers and things like that. Do you not know we've got one in Blackpool?
Paris is my favourite city.
Is it?
I've been about 9 times.
That's just
I
sad.
love it. I absolutely love Paris.
You must love a shithole then, mate.
Shut up.
Other areas around Europe are available as well. Andy's opinion is not like Paris.
Right. Before we wrap it up, I've got a question for Mike. Mike, what have you got against teddy bears and cuddly toys with adults, mate?
Just a job, Andy. It was just a job. They asked me to say stuff. I do it.
Go on. Give us a bit of an insight on that, mate. I was crying, honest. Especially everything's going in all like national press and stuff like that. It just shows you. Come on.
I can't believe how much press attention it actually got. To be honest with you, like the PR woman from GMTV rang up and said, "Just to let you know, it's in about 3 or 4 national papers." And I was like, couldn't even care less. It's just a debate on the morning show, and I just go on and do a debate, and that's about it, really. But the amount of attention is ridiculous.
It just went all over. So tell the people what it was all about, mate. For those who don't know,
whether or not adults should be allowed cuddly bears on the bed. Anne-Marie, I don't know if you've got a teddy bear on the bed.
No.
Exactly. Do you think he's right or wrong?
She's got a rabbit.
She can blow up Morris.
See what I mean?
Am I the only one who got that?
Yeah.
No.
But that's all it was. That's all it was.
But no, I wouldn't have a teddy bear on my bed.
Exactly. And that's what my debate was, the fact that I just think it's a bit odd that you go into a house and there's a load of teddy bears on the bed. So I was just, excuse me. Yeah, so that was it, really. That was it.
I know she did have the teddy bear, but not the rabbit. That's what I was laughing at.
Stan, so is it time?
No rabbit either, Martin.
Stan, so is it time that you're going to relinquish your teddy bear now on your bed?
I've not got one, mate.
Listen, we'll wrap it all there. We've done it now. Listen,
so professional.
I can't be professional. Listen, guys, thanks for joining us, Paddy, as usual, Anne-Marie. Are you having one for the road, Anne-Marie, before we go? No.
Anyone going to parade tomorrow?
And yeah, who's going to the parade tomorrow?
Me, getting drunk.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know what time the parade is, the gates open at 5 o'clock. The entertainment, I'm not going to even bother watching or anything because the main man Mike's not there, so it's not worth watching. And the parade starts at 6:30. So there's information on the city website and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. In particular, you, Mike, at short notice, and all the guys in the chat. Absolutely, the champions of England and the champions of Europe. Thanks for joining us, guys. Speak soon,
everyone.